All right, I'm going to show you how to light this stove. First, we're going to clean it out. Open up the front, and you'll also need to open the bottom. Check to be sure that the tray is in place, and put it back in. And we're going to roll all this old ash into that tray on the bottom. On the side of the stove are a couple control points, and you grab one of the tools and you rotate it, and you can see the bottom of the stove knocks all the stuff down below. In this example, there's not a lot in here, but after a fire overnight, there's sometimes quite a bit of debris. Only clean it out when it's cool. So start by brushing out the sides, get it all over there onto the grates where it'll fall through. Sweep it out of the doorway. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's just going to get dirty again. So once you have all the debris in the middle of the grates, then you're going to rotate them and drop everything down into that tray. Next, we're going to pull that tray out, but this tray is not perfect. Around the tray, there's even more debris, so place it just under the place where you put the tray and sweep out any additional debris. There won't be a whole lot, but even a little bit in the back there prevents that tray from going against the back of the stove. Open up the ash tin, dump it in there fast. There's nothing you can do about the dust, just cover it as fast as you can. Then replace the tray. Now don't shut the door all the way, because when we light the fire, we want as much oxygen coming from the bottom through the top. It's going to light this fire up fast. So have with you the torch, put in a couple fistfuls of some fire starter. We have plenty of cedar shavings from the shop, and put in a couple fat wood fire sticks. Those are fire starter sticks. And then put in a couple or 2 or 3 pieces of kindling, and kind of offset it a little bit so that you're not just choking off airflow. Air needs to get around it to really get that fire going fast. Next, put a regular size log, maybe a slightly smaller log. This one's really small. I probably should have picked up a bigger one, but it doesn't matter. The fire is going to get going. There, got everything ready. Be sure that side door is shut and sealed, and check the flue at the top. The handle, when it is pointing up and down, the flue is open. When it's turned sideways, it's closed. You don't want to start this fire with the flue closed. All right, we're getting ready to start the fire now. We need to be sure that the combustor is shut off. That's this lever on the side. We want it fully clockwise. If you turn it counterclockwise like that, then the combustor's running, and you only want that when the stove is at full temperature. We'll show you that later. Okay, grab your torch, light it, shut that left door first, latch the right door quickly, use the tool to latch it shut so that it is airtight, and there's your fire. All right, after, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or so, we're going to feed the fire some more. We're going to put some more logs in there. And you do that from the side. Once the fire is going, don't ever open the front. So grab the tool, rotate the lock, and swing it open. Be careful not to touch the stove. It's hot. Okay, grab a log and just throw it in. And in this case, I'm going to throw in a second log. There we go. Shut it. Again, use the tool, and then secure the door shut so there's no air coming in on the left side there. And you'll see the fire start to take off because we still have the front door open. But now we're going to shut the door and rotate the lock counterclockwise to lock it into place. It should be a sturdy fit on the bottom. On top of the stove is a thermometer. When it's pointing just around 800, just maybe about halfway up, we're going to turn on the combustor. The combustor is going to recirculate those gases, and it's going to burn super hot. And it also slows down the burn, so the wood lasts longer, and it just gets hotter. Notice I turned it counterclockwise to enable the combustor, and you're going to notice that the fire slows down. That's normal. Keep that bottom door shut, and don't ever open the feed door on the left when the combustor's on. Notice the temperature is now going up and up and up. We're now well over halfway, so this thing is super hot now. The room ought to be getting pretty darn warm. Now to add more wood, you need to turn off the combustor first. So clockwise, open the door and feed it. If you don't turn off that combustor first, smoke is going to pour out the side of this when you open it. So if that happens, it's because you didn't turn off the combustor. All right, feed the fire. Might have to knock down some of that ash to feed it in. Even though the log that was in there looked like it was solid, it wasn't. I just put in one log and close the door. And then I'm going to open up the bottom door just because I noticed that the fire is going real slow. And sometimes when you put in a log, it gets cold pretty fast. You may not have to do this, but I did it here. When you open the door, notice that flame just takes off. It roars. Only do that for a moment to get the fire going, and then shut the door, which I didn't show in the video. I did shut the door though. Then turn on the combustor again, and now it's recirculating those gases. The fire is going to slow down, and it's going to get super hot. On the back is a fan to blow air through the stove and heat up the room even faster. I have it plugged into this smart switch. Now, you can find the plug or the button on the side of that switch on the other side, and you can turn it on and it'll come on, or you can just yell at Alexa and say, Alexa, turn on stove fan. And turn off stove fan will turn off the stove fan. Here's some tips. If you forget to feed the fire and it dies down, there are probably still enough hot coals to get it going again. Just feed some kindling, shut the left door, and open the bottom door to let a lot of oxygen in. It might be enough to start it up again. Also, turn off the combustor anytime the temp drops below the midpoint on the thermometer. The combustor requires a lot of heat, and it will slow or inhibit the fire if it isn't hot enough. The combustor is great for superheating the stove, but you have to be sure to keep the stove fed.